Okay, welcome back. Welcome back on a Wednesday to Think Tech Talks. I'm Jay Fidel, your host, and we're talking about community matters today. In fact, the title of our show is Lanai Going Forward. We want to get updated. We want to get a postcard from Lanai, find out what's happening there in the new domain, the new transformation of Lanai. With Alberta DeGently, a farmer and a publisher. I think you're still a publisher, Alberta. And as far as I'm concerned, Alberta, you're the queen of Lanai.
Yes, I am.
And you look like the queen of Lanai today.
Thank you.
Welcome to the
If
show.
you had seen me just before this show, I had on my work boots, my farm shirt, my farm pants. My hair was all pulled back. It's amazing what a little bit of time and makeup will do.
A woman for all seasons. The Renaissance woman lives in Lanai. So tell us first about yourself. Let's introduce you to people so they know who you are and all the things you have done and are doing. Okay, so I called you a farmer and a publisher. Why don't we start with that?
Farmer and a publisher. Okay, I started farming 10 years ago. My farm's name is Benny's Farm. Mm-hmm. And I started it without a business plan, just totally as a why not kind of thing. I was driving along, we saw this land that was available, and someone asked, "Oh, you should start a farm." And I said, "Oh, why not?" That's absolutely the wrong way to start a business, hard way to start a business. But it's 10 years old this December, and also 5 years old this month is my newspaper, Lanai Today.
Yeah.
I really wanted to have the community have a newspaper where they can see their friends, read about their friends, see what's going on in the community. So a little bit of news, a little bit of social, a lot of information, and we've managed to accomplish that. I've got some really good people helping me with the paper, lots of contributors, and so it's, people look at our paper and they say, "Whoa, I wouldn't mind living there. This sounds like a place that I would like to live. This sounds as if it's my hometown." And that's exactly the kind of feel we wanted to create with Lanai Today.
Yeah, Lanai Today, I get it. It's a wonderful, wonderful paper. And it's when you think about Lanai being, 2,500 or 3,000 citizens living over there, it's got to be the central listening post for the island. Exchange of information, what's new, everything that's new. The New York Times says everything is fit to print, and Lanai Times is just everything.
Lanai Today, I just happen to have a copy of it in front of me. But in this issue, we have Richard's Market has.
Say it again.
Been totally renovated. They just had their grand opening on Monday. Uh-huh. Richard's Market, it was established back, I think, about 1949 by Richard Tamashiro. Uh-huh. So now the store has been totally renovated. It's just beautiful. Wood floors, wood ceilings, really nice shelving, very attractive. And all of the people who work in the store are so happy. They've just got a cool place to work in. So it's very nice. But on the back of the newspaper, I have a feature about the trilogy, the Kuhn brothers, Randy and Jim Kuhn. They have been giving away Christmas holiday turkeys for Thanksgiving for years and years and years, and it's just this really big thing that happens here every Thanksgiving. So Governor Neil Abercrombie to help pass out turkeys, and Lisa Paulson from the Maui Hotel and Lodging Association was also here, and she was giving out 5-pound bags of rice. But they bought in more than 1,000 turkeys to give away this year. So it's just something that the Kuhn family does for our island, and it's so appreciated by all of the people who come to the service station to pick up their holiday turkey.
That's wonderful. Lanai is, we all live in Lanai. I think it's a little bit of every one of us lives in Lanai. It's kind of it's an aspiration, a place you want to go to, a place that ultimately somehow you'll find a place in Lanai. So where are you standing right now, Alberta? You look like you're in a very beautiful place.
We are in a very beautiful place. We are in front of the Dole building. This is the Dole Administration building during the plantation days. Mm-hmm. So this is where people came to pick up their paychecks. This is where they came in to sign into the personnel department. This is where all of the offices were. And over the years, now that, of course, the plantation closed in 1992, so the first thing that you see when you come up into the Dole building now is our beautiful Lanai Cultural and Heritage Center. So the whole center part now is taken over by the Culture Center, and it is just absolutely the center of our community, the focal point of our community. And then the rest of the building is used by other nonprofit agencies, like the Coalition for Drug-Free Lanai is in this building, Lanai Changes, Queen Liliuokalani Trust, and we also have the court system. They hold court now here in this building.
Oh, do they? Oh.
Uh-huh.
That's from the Second Circuit.
Yes.
They come, they ride circuit, and they have a district court or a circuit court. Actually,
yes.
A judge actually comes to Lanai and hears
cases
today. That's great.
Yes, a judge actually comes here and they hear court cases right here on Lanai.
Oh. So which direction is the cat building you showed me when I was there last time?
Oh,
you have a special initiative about cats on Lanai.
About 6 or 7 years ago now, we started the Lanai Animal Rescue Center. Mm-hmm. And it started with just a group of local ladies who were concerned about all the homeless cats, not necessarily feral. These are stray cats that roamed around in the town, and they might have lived under someone's house, or they might not have had a place to actually be. So we created this wonderful shelter for them. It's the cats. We call it the kitty corral or the cat sanctuary. Okay. And it's beautiful. It's on 4.5 acres of land. We have an enclosure that's about a 1/4 acre, mm-hmm. and we have 350 cats that live there.
That's wonderful.
Nothing's in a cage.
Everybody wins.
Oh, it's beautiful. And of course, because the cats aren't in the town, you don't have cats up on your car tops or messing in your yard. Mm-hmm. So it's a win-win situation for everybody on Lanai.
Well, let me circle back to the farm, Kay. What have you grown to grow there, and what kind of market is there to buy your produce?
Well, one of the goals that Mr. Ellison has is he would like to have more agricultural ventures on Lanai. Mm-hmm. And for a long time, I've been practically the only farmer on Lanai, other than my friend and neighbor Eloy Kabating. He has a 4-acre farm next to me. I have an 18-acre farm. But Eloy's parents are I think they're in their early 80s. But they go down to the farm every day, his farm every day, and they grow Filipino vegetables like long eggplant, beans, long beans, stuff like that. And then on my farm, I've been concentrating on growing a little bit of everything. I have papayas, I have apple bananas, avocados, citrus, lettuce. We grow corn in season. And over the years, it's been very hard. I have respect for all farmers in Hawaii. They work so hard, and if it rains and our crops are good, it's good. Yeah. If there's drought, we all suffer. If it's a bad year, it's a bad year. But I've had to change my marketing plan because of the cost of labor. Well, we have like a 2% unemployment rate. So everyone who's working on Lanai is already working. And people say they want ag, but they don't really want to work in ag. They don't want to be. No, they don't want to be down in the dirt. And of course, you have aquaponics and hydroponics and greenhouses. Well, I do it in the dirt. I do it the old-fashioned way. So you get dirty, and it's hard work. So I have been very fortunate, though, because I was able to do a marketing plan agreement with Nobu Restaurant. And Nobu is at the Four Seasons at Manili Bay.
Oh, that's a major international name, Nobu's.
Oh yeah, so we have a Nobu garden at Benny's farm, and the chef comes down to the garden 2 or 3 times a week to pick. If at the end of the evening, if he finds that he doesn't have enough lettuce or he needs something else, he can call or text me. I finally learned how to use a smartphone.
Good.
So he texts me and asks me if I can bring down another, take in another 5 pounds of vegetables, or can I give him more carrots, or if I have more meat. So it's been
as long as he doesn't tell you to grow it on demand.
Well, we experiment a lot. We sit down, and I think other farmers too are beginning to develop one-on-one relationships with other hotels and restaurants. And we get together, and they're our customers, and we need to communicate. We all need to communicate to see what we can grow for each other.
Yeah.
Because it's great. If you can go out and grow a whole lot of stuff, but you can't rely just on a farmer's market. You might have 100 pounds of cilantro and no one to sell it to.
Really? So you have to know what people want, especially when you're selling to hotels. And they have to be able to tell you exactly what quality they want and size and whatever else you have control over. So it's good to be able to talk to your buyer that way and arrange things to his satisfaction.
Yes, Yes, and I was really fortunate because, Nobu himself, we call Nobu-san, came to Lanai in September, and he came down to the farm. So we worked like slaves before he came to make sure that it was spotless, not in the garden. But it was well worth it because he just loved it. He got to eat our fresh corn, straight out of the field. Under the lawn, picked and looked at different things, and it was so exciting to have him there. To have someone of his caliber in my garden, at my farm, it's really exciting. Yeah. I love it.
Well, Alberta, we're going to take a very short break now, just to sort of regroup. And maybe while we're taking the break, you could clean the lens on your computer, because it looks like it has some water on it. When we come back, we'll be back in 1 minute. That's Alberta DeJetley, farmer and publisher. In my view, the queen of Lanai. We're talking about Lanai going forward. We'll be right back after this short break.
All right.
Aloha, I'm Nicole Horry for ThinkTech. For nearly half a century, the Hawaii Foreign Trade Zone No. 9 has brought the benefits of the Foreign Trade Zone program to Hawaii businesses and entrepreneurs. DBET, the Department of Business, Economic Development, and Tourism, operates Hawaii's Foreign Trade Zone program to encourage international business and economic development. The Foreign Trade Zone's mission is to increase the amount of international trading activity in Hawaii, thereby providing employment opportunities for the residents of our island state. For more information, see ftz9.org. I'm Nicole Horry. Mahalo.
Aloha, I'm Maria Kashem of ThinkTech Hawaii, and I want to tell you about our ThinkTech talk shows. If you didn't know it, ThinkTech streams video and audio for all of its shows live on the internet from 2 to 5 p.m. every weekday afternoon, and we replay them all night long on ustream.tv. Visit thinktechhawaii.com for our live stream and YouTube links. Raise your awareness on ThinkTech. I'm Maria Kashem, and I'll see you there.
Okay, we're back. We're live. We're here with Alberta DeJetley, who joins us from Lanai, in the center of Lanai. She's a farmer, a publisher, and we're talking about ThinkTech Talks, Community Matters, and Lanai going forward. Our picture is not quite right, but I think the sound is okay, so we'll go forward with this show. So, Alberta, you talked about how there's only maybe one other farmer with you now, but Larry Ellison is trying to encourage other farms. He wants to have Lanai become, largely agricultural again. How do you think that's going to play out?
Well, we are having more farmers arriving. Right next door to me, there was a 6 to 7 acre parcel that they've subdivided. They put water meters in, and new people are coming in. I have one of my friends. His name is David Emery. He's from the Big Island, and he's doing an aquaponics venture. So he just started it. He's been, aquaponics sounds easy, but there's a lot of science involved in it.
Mm-hmm. Well, you don't have to get down in the soil like the conventional farmer does. Know what I mean?
Yes. So he's growing lettuce under his greenhouse, aquaponics greenhouse, And next door to him, further on down, there's another farmer, also from the Big Island, who is going to be growing coffee. And then we have this wonderful landscaping company, RMG. They're from the Big Island too, and they have taken on a 2-acre parcel, and they'll be developing a farm on it also.
Well, that's great. But is there some common denominator that draws the people from the Big Island to come to Lanai and do farming? Is there some incentive involved?
I don't know. I don't know. Because it might be because of the bog on the Big Island. It might be because we have a lot of growth projected for Lanai that people like RMG are here. But they're wonderful additions to our community, and I think it will be a win-win relationship for all of us once they're up and running.
Do you think that Lanai will get to export produce to the other islands?
Well, first of all, we need to take care of what we need here for our community. But I think, yes, we will be able to export. Once more farmers come to Lanai, we can start exporting. We're looking at it will, sometime in the future, we're going to have to start talking about forming a marketing cooperative so that we can all share in producing crops and exporting them to markets outside of Lanai.
Yeah. You're not going to get back into pineapple, are you?
Oh, pineapple's hard, with pineapple. I think part of the thing with pineapple on Lanai is all of our pineapple was being canned at the Dole Cannery on Oahu. For a while, they were shipping fresh fruit to the mainland. So the fresh fruit market is where Hawaii should be. And in Wahiawa, they're taking care of the fresh fruit market. It would be very difficult for us to export airlift pineapple from Lanai to the mainland.
It might have been efficient on a plantation level, but on diversified agriculture, I don't think it works the same way. It's better to come up with diversified type crops for that.
I think so.
Yeah. So you speak of a new time. You speak of a new chapter, say, in Lanai. What is happening in that? Larry Ellison has announced some really interesting and ambitious plans to, move forward with Lanai and to change some really profound things. For example, water. Water has been a problem. If you want to grow, if you want to do agriculture, you need water and so forth. What's happening in that kind of environmental infrastructure?
Well, it's really exciting because down at Manili we have the desalination tests are being done. Desal tower is in for one of the wells. The wells have tested out very well. It's going to happen. They're looking at 2.5 million gallons of water per day, as much as 7 million in the future, on up to 10 million gallons per day. So when you look at communities like in Maui, where we have severe water problems, if we can make desal work on Lanai, it's something that we can consider all over the state, not just on Lanai. We have people in Maui County who have been waiting for water meters for 20, 30 years. And if desal works on Lanai, it's going to open up the whole county. It's going to open up the state. Yeah. It's just not about us. It's about our state.
Well, I think that, the footnote to that is it's kind of an adventurous thing to do. It's very high tech. It takes a certain risk with it. It takes a certain capital cost with it. But it's the kind of thing that could have effect not only in Lanai but all over the state. I wrote an article a few months ago about the fact that as sea level change proceeds, there's damage to the lens in the aquifer, in the water table, in the water source, for Oahu anyway, and I think Maui will be affected as well. And when that happens, we don't have as much fresh water as we used to have. We're ultimately going to have a water shortage in this state, and we really better know about desalination.
I think so, because on Lanai, we have different wells that tap into different parts of the aquifer, but it's still just one aquifer. And we have a responsibility to take care of, the Hawaiian word is malama
the Aina. And we have this huge responsibility to future generations to make sure we are protecting our resources and we are managing them in the best way, not just for us, but for the future.
So that's part of it, isn't it? I mean, not only are you guys, going to desalination, but you're also very mindful of the land and the environment. And I expect that part of Ellison's plan is to preserve it as much as possible. Is there any talk about that?
Oh yes, it's already starting. They're doing, like, the Palawai Basin has been just invaded with mainly lantana. There's still grassland there, but it's filled with lantana. And for the past several months, they've been clearing all the lantana, and now they're chipping it and mulching it, so they're controlling it. But we have parts of this island that used to be in amazing grasslands, pasture lands in the Mahana area, which is to the north of the community, about 4 miles outside of town. I grew up at Ku'ele, and our family had horses. So up in the Mahana area,
horse, actually, up there. I can visualize you riding a horse, a great equestrian.
I used to be in the Kamehameha Day parades on Oahu.
That's where I think I saw you first.
That was a long time ago. But we had beautiful pasture lands up there where the grass was so tall it almost reached the underbelly of a horse. That's how tall it was. And beautiful, beautiful land. But now it's all covered with lantana and Christmas berry.
Well, let's talk about lantana for a minute. I had some experience with lantana on Molokai, and it was brought in. It's an invasive species. It's actually a species that was brought in to act like barbed wire and contain cattle, I think. And it has thorns on it. It's very hard to walk through or deal with. It's not a friendly plant at all. But it grows quickly, and it can take over a whole area. It can cut out the grass, and I guess that's happened on Lanai too, huh?
Oh yes, they've been managing. The Lanai Hali is our watershed area, so they've been working for years and years. Conservation groups have been working to maintain the watershed and to protect it by removing all of the invasive plants. So right now they're still working on the Vivi, the yellow strawberry guava. I love those. They're delicious, but when they're in our rainforest, they take away the natural canopy of the forest. So they do have to be removed. Nothing else will grow under them.
Well, this suggests a kind of return to a softer, more environmentally friendly time. With the natural flora and fauna, bringing Lanai back to pre-plantation days, I think.
Pre-plantation days, it was worse, Jay. It was the island. If you come up and visit the cultural center, you'll see that we have photographs of the mountains where they're totally denuded. We had Walter Mayer Gibson, of course, who was one of the island's previous owners. He raised more than 10,000 sheep and goats on this island and created terrible erosion. So there was nothing growing. Before the plantation, this island was just practically nude. There's no other word to describe how it looked at that time. So we're taking it not back, but we're taking it forward and creating a much, much more beautiful, lush environment.
I'm happy to hear that. I remember it was maybe 2 years ago, local filmmaker Jason Lau made Shakespeare's The Tempest. I don't know if you had any connection with that, with Helen Mirren, who is really, world class. And they found the scrub areas in Lanai, and that's where they conducted, that's where they took the film. And it was really a very hard, unpleasant kind of environment to take, but they intended that. That's what they wanted. That's what they got.
It was beautiful. They bought the Tempest. They showed it here for the community.
Yeah.
I went twice. I went twice because it was really it was interesting to see how they used our natural terrain to convey the story, and parts of it was filled out on the west end of the island where there are all these rock formations. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Just amazing photography. They did a really excellent job on filming it here. And that's another thing, you know, now that we have all this action happening on Lanai, I hope that people will come here to do commercials. I hope people will come here to do filming. We have a whole new market industry that can be developed here now.
Film.
Yes, film. That's film. A film studio is one of the items on our community plan.
Mm-hmm.
I was on the advisory committee for the Lanai community plan, and that's full of different exciting things that we would like to see happen in the future with Mr. Ellison and with our community. But a 25-acre film studio is on the plan. The thing that I really would love to see, though, is there's a 524-acre parcel set aside for a university or college. Can you imagine what that would do to our island?
Yeah.
It would just the atmosphere, the college town type thing. It would bring in wonderful. It's just I can't describe how excited I am at the idea of a university, this becoming a university town.
Yeah, it would become a retreat, an academic retreat too. And what I've heard is that you know, there'll be research going on there. This will be more than just
the
classes.
research. We have a research center, and on the plans there's a tennis academy on the plans.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of disappointed there weren't plans for horses in Lanai's future, but they do have plans for different areas. You know, instead of just continually expanding outward on Lanai City, they want to create 3 different villages where there will be homes and parks and different kinds. What they're referring to it as is they want to create housing options and alternatives for the future instead of just expanding Lanai City until it's just a suburb upon suburb upon suburb.
Well, you know, it's that old slogan, you know, today is the first day in the rest of your life. You know, you wake up in the morning in Lanai and you have this fantastic future. You know, things that the rest of the state may not have learned very well, plans that the rest of the state has had trouble in making and implementing. Lanai has the opportunity to have the rest of its life better than really any place in the state and maybe the world. I mean, I believe that when you can control it this way and you have an island that's special with all the history of it and the people in it, that you can have a utopia. And that's what the picture is for me.
I know when people hear that plans include doubling our population, we have just over 3,000 people now. So we're talking about maybe going up to 6, possibly 7,000 people. People get really nervous about it, but you have to remember that change is very difficult for a lot of people, and they're afraid of it. I look upon change as a way to expand our world, to create a better future for our families, for my grandchildren, your grandchildren, everybody's grandchildren. But we can't just rely upon a rich landowner, a rich person coming to Lanai and saying, "Oh, I'm going to solve all your problems. I'll pay all of your bills. I'll do this or I'll do that." We have to do our part to make this community grow. We all have to get onto the same wagon, the same train, and work together to create a better future, not just for Mr. Ellison, but for all of us.
That is a great point, Alberta. That's Alberta the Gently, farmer, publisher, the queen of Lanai, maybe the philosopher queen of Lanai. You're on Think Tech Talks Community Matters, Lanai going forward here on a given Wednesday on Think Tech. We'll be right back after this short break. Aloha, I'm Jay Fidel for Think Tech. For nearly half a century, the Hawaiian Foreign Trade Zone, number 9, has brought the benefits of the Foreign Trade Zone program to Hawaii businesses and entrepreneurs. DBED, the Hawaii Department of Business, Economic Development and Tourism, operates Hawaii's Foreign Trade Zone program. It does so to encourage international business and economic development. The Foreign Trade Zone mission is to increase the amount of international trading activity in Hawaii, thereby providing employment opportunities for the residents of our island state. For more information, see ftz9.org. I'm Jay Fidel of ThinkTech. We're back. We're live. I'm Jay Fidel here on ThinkTech Talks, talking about community matters. That's a double entendre. And today we're talking about Lanai going forward, one of my favorite places. And in fact, ThinkTech has been over there a number of times to take film. And next year, Alberta, I want to do that again. I want to make a movie again for our OC16 show about Lanai. That's Alberta DeJetley, farmer, publisher, and philosopher queen of Lanai.
Hey, Jay, next year. You're going to do this next year? Next year it starts next month, so I'm going to be looking for you soon.
I'll be looking for you. So we were talking about, how this could become a utopia. I mean, Larry Ellison has announced some really wonderful plans, clear and clean. A whole new chapter, all a cornucopia of possibilities. And it's very exciting to think about it, to see, parts of it rolling out. And frankly, I really admire the way he's handled the public relations aspect. He hasn't, gone out there and try to hit the front page on these things. He just does it. And that really counts for me. And I think it counts for a lot of people. And your point is so well taken about how, the people have to have their own strength on this sort of thing. They can't just take handouts. They have got to be part of the process. They've got to have their own vision of it, and I really appreciate that. I think that's what makes Lanai special, not only in general, but for him, because I think he sees that. Anyway, the question is, what do the people have to do? What does Lanai, the citizens of Lanai, what do they have to do going forward to do it right? What's your thought on that?
They have to stop speculating. They have to stop listening to rumors. They need to come to these public hearings, public meetings, and hear for themselves what is going on. With the paper, I try to pass on information as best as I can, but it's really hard when people say, "Oh, did you hear this is happening?" Or, "Oh, they're going to do this." They need to get their facts straight from the horse's mouth, if possible. Lynn McCory is the VP at Pulama Lanai, and she's responsible for government affairs. She's the person that gets all the permits in place, and she's been having these public meetings pretty much at least once a month, sometimes twice a month. It's very informal. It's held at the ILWU Hall, and we gather around in a circle, and Lynn will explain that it's just when she has such a nice style about her. She, you've been to these development type meetings where somebody stands up and they've got all these PowerPoint charts and maps and stuff all over the walls. Lynn sits there in the circle with nothing in her hand, and she says, "Let's just all sit here as if we're sitting in someone's garage, and we're just talking story. I'll tell you what's going on, and if you have questions, you can ask me." The only difference with Lynn's meetings is it's no alcohol, right? We're not sitting around drinking beer or drinking wine. We're just sitting in a circle. But she does an excellent job of sharing vital information. What's happening, how it's happening, where it's happening. We've had this past week, we had an update on the renovation work, which will be taking place at the Four Seasons at Manili Bay. The previous meeting, we talked about the golf course at the experience at Koali. They started at sod farm. They're going to be resodding all of the fairways, just doing so much work there. So the golf course will be closed temporarily while this work is going on. But Lynn answered everyone's questions. The room was full of golfers, because people love golfing at Koali. So they were all there, and they all had a chance to put in their 2 cents. And the meetings doesn't always go Pulama's way. Like, for instance, a few months ago, Lynn presented a plan for a visitor center, which would be in Dole Park, where the old post office building used to be.
Around the quad there.
No, yeah, right at the top of the park.
Okay.
So we looked at her and said, "Oh, are you nuts? We don't want anything more built in Dole Park. You know, Dole Park is the heart of our town. It's sacred. No more buildings." So it was a real eye opener to be able to say, "No, we don't want you to do that." We're having discussions on the old bowling alley. The old bowling alley was 4-lane. Of course, it hasn't been a bowling alley for years and years and years, but we still call it the old bowling alley.
Of course.
We're supposed to call it the Lanai Community Center, the recreational building for the county, but everybody calls it the bowling alley. So there's been talk about, okay, we're going to fix up the bowling alley. We're going to make it a 10-lane bowling alley and have a food court, and we'll do this and we'll do that. We're going, no way! Why don't you consider just tearing it down? Because it's not functional. As a recreational center, it's not functional.
Have to move forward.
Yes, we have to move forward. So there's a lot of give and take. Tonight, actually, we're going to have a meeting at 5:30 with the Lanai Planning Commission. Up on the agenda is the old police station building, which anchors the bottom of the square. The police station building and the house, which used to be the lieutenant's house, are both zoned residential. The company wants to convert it back into commercial, and I'm hoping, and the Lanai Chamber of Commerce is hoping, that we can get enough people to show up at this meeting to say, yes, it should be commercial.
Yeah.
Because every small business, we have Mr. Ellison, we have all of his help and all of his billions of dollars to improve our town, but every small business that we add to this community adds another brick into our foundation. And regardless of whether or not it's a one-person business with no employees, or whether or not it's a big business like Four Seasons or Pulama Lanai, where they employ hundreds of businesses.
Well, Pulama Lanai is the company that's running Lanai now. That's Ellison's company.
The old Castle Cook is now Pulama Lanai. But it's really important that we convert this building back into commercial use rather than let it sit there empty. So that's what tonight's meeting is going to be about, and I hope that people will come. But you asked earlier, what should people do? Yes. They should come to meetings. They should speak up. They should get their facts straight. They need to be proactive and ahead of the curve rather than behind the curve.
I hear you. And my own reaction back in the days of, the fight with Murdoch about wind was that people were not informed. And they were playing catch up on getting informed, and as a result, it was not good process.
No, we didn't have a good process on that. But with Lynn McCory now, she is bends over backwards to keep everybody in the loop and to make sure that we all understand what is happening.
So what do you see as the challenges? Let me ask you first about energy. It sort of flows out of the whole thing with the wind. I mean, where are we on energy? I understand there's going to be some big photovoltaic farms now, and there'll be a change, all right. And there'll be local wind, not wind that'll serve a undersea cable or other islands, but there'll be local wind, and you're going to have a kind of an upgrade in energy, right? Isn't that happening?
Yes, there were plans discussed on doubling the size of the photovoltaic plant. There's plans for the desal facility will use a lot of electricity. So they're talking about possibly photovoltaic there, possibly wind power there, and possibly hydroelectric power. Because if they use hydroelectric, they can pump water uphill during the daytime and flow it back as hydroelectric power at nighttime.
Pump storage. That's the
Yes.
that's the thing
Pump
everybody's
storage.
hoping for pump storage.
Yes,
and
that
again
would
be an experiment for the rest of the state.
that may work. And if you have if you're doing that, then wind power becomes a really important factor in it, because if you look at it, wind power is free. It's a natural resource. It's there, and we should not take it off the table because people don't like the look of the turbines.
Mm-hmm.
It's there. We need to use it. We need to use all of our resources. And talking about resources, on January 9th, I'm going to be hosting the film. People call me for everything. Anytime anybody on the night wants anything, they call me or text me or email me.
You're the go-to girl.
There's this lady in North Carolina. Her name is Linda Booker. She's produced a film on hemp, industrial hemp, because of course it's illegal in the United States. But she's done this wonderful film. It's called Bringing It Home. And she's advocating that we bring industrial hemp back to the United States because of all of the uses that it has. You can build houses with it. You can use it for biodiesel fuel source. There's so many things that you can do. I haven't seen the entire film, but it's going to be shown here. We're showing it twice on January 9th. I might end up in jail for promoting industrial.
I don't think so. Cynthia Thielen is very big on industrial hemp.
Yes.
You know that.
Yes. So I think not just on Lanai, but all over the state, we need to start looking at other alternatives to our energy problems. It's not one solution. It's going to be part of a package of solutions that we can bring together to work together on.
What about challenges? I mean, do you see anything that's looming on the horizon that might be a fly in the ointment that might derail anything? I mean, I know that it's pretty sensitive about energy. You mentioned that some people might not like wind. I mean, do you sense anything in the community now which could create a contention around any of this?
Fear. It's just fear. For a lot of people, because they've lived on Lanai. This is their home. They've never lived anywhere else. This is all they know. For the Coalition for a Drug-Free Lanai, we had a community meeting a few weeks ago, and people that were at the meeting were really concerned about housing. Housing here has gone like berserko. We have more than 150 people waiting for housing. The cost of housing has skyrocketed. People are really afraid that they may end up homeless on their own island.
Ooh, that would be awful.
So that's a known fear, because some people with children have approached me, single mothers, and they say, Alberta, I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't find a place to live. I've got 3 kids. I've got a dog. My landlord's evicting me. Where am I going to go? And housing is a really, really big concern now. Housing was brought up, and the fear of people they don't know, strangers. I go to the store and I don't know anybody here, or I go to a meeting and there's so many people I've never seen before.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, that's part of us expanding. And you're only a stranger until you look at somebody and meet a new person and go up to them and say, hi, my name's Alberta, what's your name and where are you from? Yeah. And bang, okay, they're no longer a stranger. But we need to try to have more of a sense of aloha, of welcoming new people into our community. We need more people here because our base population is elderly, and we have had so many deaths in the last 2-3 months. It's just really sad that all of our old timers are gone. I look around me now and I'm the old timer.
Oh no.
So I think we all have a responsibility to say, hi. Yeah. Where are you from? Or sure. I've never seen you before. What's your name? Yeah. It's so easy to do, but it's
Well, that's the
I
value
don't
of
know.
an island. You know, an island with 3,000 people, everybody gets to know each other, and it offers a certain comfort, a sort of a cross comfort for everybody. But you know, one thing I wanted to ask you about, last time I was there was some concern about employment, about jobs. You know, the plantations went out, the economy struggles, some people can't get work. What happens to them?
Oh, now we've got jobs coming out of our ears. We have more jobs than we can fill.
Is that right? Good.
Oh, there's not enough people here for all of the jobs that are available. So for young people in school that are still in school,
Yeah.
they should really look to diversify. Think, you know, in the old days, everybody stayed in the same job for 30, 40 years until they retired.
Yeah.
Now you have to think globally. You have to think, oh, I'd like to learn that. Maybe I can learn this, and while I'm doing this job, I will learn about this job and be able to diversify and continually learn new skills. It's that's the only way you can move forward, and I think that's what we're going to have to do here with our young students, is give them the education they need so that they can multitask and go global.
Wasn't that, you know, also part of the old style in Hawaii where in the rural areas everybody could do everything? You know, you had a beauty parlor and then maybe a little blacksmithing and then you had the local paper if you want. You ran a farm. I mean, everybody did everything. And there was a very nourishing aspect to that because it made for a very self-reliant society. You know, you could always find somebody to do anything you wanted.
Yeah, you really can, and you still have that. You know, we started the Lanai Chamber of Commerce. We started that about 2 years ago now, so this April we'll be electing new officers, but I'm presently the chair. I've served 2 terms, 2 one-year terms, and it's just amazing. We have over 54 members, and every single one of our members contributes something to our community. You know, so it's exciting. I really like having new people show up and new ideas, new businesses. One of the new businesses that I've really been excited about is the Anuinui Juice Bar and Cafe. This young lady named Tammy Reinhardt came to Lanai and started this. She came to work at Four Seasons originally, but it's an example of what someone with a vision, someone with a dream can do. All you need is that spark, that inspiration that can start you on your own business. You don't have to work for other people, although it's okay to work for other people. But
well, you know,
we are the land of opportunity here now.
Well, you are the microcosm for the state. You're gonna do social experiments that are gonna teach us how to do things better on other islands. But one thing that strikes me is, you know, in Singapore, which is in many ways a model for island living, they decided a couple of years ago they needed more population, just the way, you know, maybe Lanai needs more population. They did that. I mean, they brought millions of people from China and other places in the region in order to give them the population they felt was better for planning. So, I mean, I think I see Lanai as potentially growing in population, but I see it also as preserving its environment, preserving its way of life that you described, this idyllic way of life. And it sounds like maybe this will become a mecca for people who want to live that life and people who want to retire in Lanai, that was a dream from before. I don't know if it was realized, and certain, you know, condo properties were built up with that in expectation. What do you think is going to happen? What I'm really asking, you know, Alberta, is should I plan to retire in Lanai?
I'd love it. Yes, I'd love it if you moved your family to Lanai and lived on Lanai, because we have so much to offer. And on top of that, I'm on all these nonprofit organizations, and we need volunteers. So every new person that comes onto the island is a potential volunteer for one of our agencies. So, yes, we would love to have you on Lanai.
Well, I'll come over and do some footage early next year. I look forward to seeing you for that. But we have a minute left, Alberta. Can you think of anything you'd like to leave with our audience about Lanai or about life on Lanai and where Lanai fits in the, you know, in the state?
You know, I meet a lot of people and I see a lot of people all over the state. And so many local people will tell me, oh, I've never been to Lanai. I've always wanted to come and visit, but I haven't. And I say, you should come to Lanai to see what's happening here because it's so beautiful. And it's like we're in the center of our own paradise. And it's such an exciting time for us to be. So yes, please tell all of your friends, your families, your relatives on the mainland, come to Lanai. You'll be very, very welcome here.
Lanai, here I come. Alberta DeJetley, farmer, publisher, philosopher queen, the go-to girl of Lanai in Hawaii. And here we are on Think Tech Talks talking about community matters, Lanai going forward with Alberta. Thank you so much for joining us, Alberta.
Thank you, Jay. It's always a pleasure.
Aloha. We'll talk soon.
Aloha.